If I've got 30 to 35% more equity to put toward these deals, and if I'm not afraid of debt and I love leveraging how much more property could I potentially buy saving 30 to 35% in every single investment property that's 1031 eligible that I could exchange? That's what really gets that's what gets me excited for people.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Investor Fuel podcast. I'm your host, Q Edmonds. I think you should know that by now, right? I'm so excited again to have you here for another episode. And listen, I have someone here who I've been chatting with, who you're going to get a wealth of knowledge from. Trust me and believe me on that. And so I want to introduce to y'all my friend, my man, Matt Linville, who's also known as that 1031 guy. He's humble, but I'm gonna go ahead and say that 1031 guy. And listen, he's helping investors and brokers and agents and attorneys and CPAs navigate the 1031 exchange. And he's doing that with clarity, confidence, less stress. And so I'm so excited to have you here today, Mr. Matt. How you feeling today, sir?
Fantastic. Happy Monday to you, by the way.
Happy Monday to you, man. Listen, I'm excited. Our listeners, they're going to take a lot away from this, especially the ones when they hear that 1031. I know for some of them, it perks their interest, right? And some may not know what that is. And so I'm going to let you do what you do best. So if you don't mind, I just want to dive in. And first off, for people who are not familiar with you, they're not familiar with your world and what you do, give us a short version of what it is that you're main focused on these days. And if you don't mind, also tell them what market you're working out of as well.
Yeah. So first off, I'm in the great state of North Carolina. Our company's based in Chapel Hill. I have an office there, but I never see it. So I'm somewhere between Michigan, Nebraska, Tennessee, Texas, Florida, the Carolinas up north, talking, teaching, working with taxpayers. And as you said, my main focus all about 1031 like-kind exchanges. We serve as the qualified intermediary. We're that necessary third party that the IRS requires to be involved in the 1031. But listen, for over 20 years, that has been my professional life, and it is my professional passion. And for those who might be listening who don't know about 1031s or just kind of learning, I'd say this: the 1031 like-kind exchange is one of the greatest gifts the IRS has given an owner of investment property. And again, whether that be residential investment or commercial investment, and basically what they've said is this: if you own a piece of real property that you have used for investment or business use, when you sell that piece of property, as long as you take the proceeds and roll those into another property or properties that you're going to hold again for business or investment use, the IRS will allow you to defer the tax on the gain you normally pay. And you might ask, what's that matter? Or what do you even mean in that? Well,
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
There's 4 taxes. First, capital gains tax. So it's either 15 or 20% federal capital gains that you can defer through the 1031. Second is state tax. Now, not for our friends in Texas and Tennessee and Florida and a couple of others, but for those in California paying a really, really high state tax, or for any other state that has state tax, that's deferred through a 1031. Third, net investment income tax. Federal level, 3.8%, they can defer. And lastly is depreciation recapture. So as kind as the IRS is to allow us to depreciate a property either over 27 and a half or 39 years, whenever we sell it, they say, listen, here's what we'd like. We'd like to have 25% of that back. So that can also be deferred through a 1031. Now, if you've owned a property for a couple of years, maybe that's not the biggest deal. But if you've owned a property for a lengthy amount of time and you've really taken heavy depreciation on it, that 25% deferral might be the biggest tax you can defer. So at the end of the day, I mean, the whole thing is, for those who are listening to this and they've sat around the table and they've cried about a property, they've bled over a property, they've argued over a property, they had to go to court for a property and a tenant, this is the IRS saying, take all of that money that you poured into it and you earned out of that property, you keep it and you keep reinvesting it into other properties, and we're going to allow you to grow your portfolio through this deferral. If I've got 30 to 35% more equity to put toward these deals, and if I'm not afraid of debt and I love leveraging, how much more property could I potentially buy, saving 30 to 35% in every single investment property that's 1031 eligible that I could exchange? That's what really gets that's what gets me excited for people.
No, I love it, man. I love it how you're telling people how we can leverage this 1031. All right. And you give them percentages, 25%, 35%. I mean, like, come on. Like, you got, if it's here for you, you got to leverage it. It's going to save you money, put more money in your pocket, and however way you want to look at it. Like you said, you can keep turning these things, putting it into 1031 and watching it work for you. That's amazing.
That's right. Yes.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And you mentioned it, in this climate, there's a lot going on, right? There's a lot going on with the 3-letter word that I don't even want to mention, like the I and the ends with the S, you can figure out what to put in the middle, right?
Yeah.
So, it's a lot of things that's forever changing. What is it that keeps you guys running smoothly? What is it that keeps things running smoothly for you?
So I think it's the same thing for anybody in any business, in any deal. It's communication. Communication is key. Communication of the facts and of correct information is communication, especially when we're involved with the 1031 like-kind exchange. We're talking to the taxpayer. We're talking with their agent or broker. As you mentioned, coming into the podcast, we're working with their CPA, whoever their tax advisor might be, real estate attorney. We're working with the closing entity, whether that be an attorney, a title company, or anybody else who's actually closing the deal. We're working with all of those people, and our part is crucial because, number one, we're preparing the exchange agreement for our taxpayer that must be signed and dated before or at least at the closing table. So that takes some coordination and some information gathering. We're working with the closing entity so that the monies from closing goes from their escrow account directly to us as their qualified intermediary, not passing through the taxpayer's hands. So that takes some coordination. And then for those of you who are familiar with the timeframes that we have, that 45 and 180-day timeframes, we're working with the taxpayer, helping them on their ID.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
remembering their deadlines for identification. And then when they're ready to close on a replacement property or properties, we're working with that closing entity, escrow payments, earnest money, due diligence, anything that needs to come out. We're a part of that 400 email chain, that's going out to everybody. And we're doing, a few hundred of these a month. So it takes a lot of communication and coordination on our side to keep things flowing. And I got to be honest with you, if you don't answer your phone, if you don't respond to emails, you're breaking that communication line. And so we really pride ourselves on making sure we have somebody available at all times to answer that phone when we're open and we're responding to emails. Even myself, I don't get exempt from that. So I always tell people, you can call me, text me, email me if it's on the weekend, a holiday. Time frames don't stop. So if you need to talk to somebody, you can text me and listen until Abigail looks at me very kindly and says, "That's enough." Okay. It's 10 o'clock on Saturday night. Put it down. Okay. So that's usually, I tell people, that's my hours right there until she says it's time to put it down. Okay. So yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering who the real boss was, and you just
Yeah.
let it slip out.
Best boss and partner I've ever had in my entire life.
You took the word of my heart, because I was going to say partner. I was about to say that
Yeah,
there's
that's
always
right.
that partner that can reel you in.
That's right.
So no, I
That's
get it,
right.
man, and
He
I
knows the
love it
words to
because
say.
yes, sir, absolutely, man, absolutely, man. I can go so far into that, but man, they protect us, man. But that's a whole nother
Right.
podcast I can get into, But yeah, absolutely, man. But you talked about communication and making sure that communication don't break down. That's pivotal. And you also talked about, so there's a deal going on and y'all are balancing. I love how you said the entities, right? The closing entity, the title company. There's a deal, that's trying to go down. You're trying to coordinate everything. So now, I know as an operator, there's time when things get real, right? So maybe tell us about a deal that maybe went sideways, or a time maybe that you had to pivot fast. You mind sharing one of those stories?
I don't mind at all. I think one of the pieces that we try to get out in the phone calls that I try to avoid is when the taxpayer calls and says, "Matt, I really want to do a 1031." That's not the one I'm trying to avoid. I want that all day. Bring that person to me, okay? And so my first question to them is, "Okay, when did you close, or when is your closing?" What I don't mind hearing is in a couple of weeks. What I don't mind hearing is it's this afternoon. Okay, can we get everything together for closing this afternoon? Absolutely. What I don't want to hear was it was yesterday. That's what I don't want to hear. And so whenever I hear that, my follow-up question is, okay, do you mean you signed a contract yesterday, or were you actually at the closing? So if they were at the closing and they closed and they did so without an exchange agreement from a qualified intermediary, there's no 1031. Okay, it's done. There's no way of going back and, you know, uh, post dating or pre-dating a contract. We would never do that. Just like an agent would never, predate or post date, change the date on a contract. We never do that. So that's one piece where, unfortunately, we're having to help that taxpayer pivot because all of a sudden the 1031 is not available. When it comes to closings, I guess closings are probably the biggest thing. Closings can sneak up or they can be delayed. So we want to make sure that we're fully in communication with the taxpayer and we understand when the closing is happening, who is closing it. So those last minute details or changes when they need HUD signatures or when they need, like we're talking about, the earnest money deposits or something done, that we're on time to get that done.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
There's a lot of things that can happen and nuances within the 1031 when we have folks who aren't abiding by the same taxpayer rule. Lots of rules to know, but basically entity A sells. Well, entity A needs to be the one that buys the property. It needs to be the same taxpayer. So what happens when we get the sales contract on the property they're selling and it's X entity, and then they're looking at buying the next property, and we see the contract there, all of a sudden the entity is different. And so if we see that entity is different, that's an immediate call to the taxpayer to walk them through what the same taxpayer rule is, what that entity is made up of, and does that need to change? And so all of those things kind of come in to say, do we necessarily need to pivot? Not necessarily, but can we help the taxpayer pivot into the right way, or that the old path of right, how things are supposed to be done,
Yeah,
to make
yeah,
sure they're abiding by the 1031, of course, working with their tax or legal advisor along the way. So it's really helping the taxpayer pivot when we see that something isn't doesn't seem to be right, and making sure they're getting good, sound legal and tax advice from their advisors on that issue.
absolutely. And see, stuff like that for me that separates the investor title exchange, who you so eloquently represent, from people just that dabble, that to people that's in it for the long term. I think that's one of the strengths of your company is the longevity, right? And so giving that type of information and say, hey, don't call me, and you're listening, people. Don't call after the deal's made. Don't call and say, hey, it was yesterday. No, you got to get ahead of the game. And so for me, this is why what you do in the company that you represent is so important, because people need to hear stuff like this, right? They need this information. And so let me ask you this. What are you most focused on solving right now? Like, what's the real next goal that you see coming into play?
I think it's the provision of information. And marketing is not all about company and brand, as far as, I want you to think of me first thing when you're doing a 1031. That's nice, don't get me wrong, that's great, but we also want to make sure that the right information is out there. So if I am basing my investment strategy and I'm selling property A, and here are the 3 properties I'm looking at rolling funds out into through a 1031, and all of a sudden I'm basing that plan off of incorrect information, then the potential of my strategy being successful diminishes quite a bit. Not going to say it can't be still successful, but if you have wrong information from the beginning, and all of a sudden the assumption is there's going to be a lot of other things that will be wrong as you go down that path. So it's about the dissemination of correct information. And what does it mean for the 45 and 180 days? And did you know that the 45-day identification period, that's calendar days, not business days? So holidays, days and rainy days and Mondays, and the kids are sick and I just don't feel like it, or we're on vacation for a week, I don't even want to think about real estate. All of those days count in that 45-day identification. And if you miss the date, then you've missed your exchange. If you only identified one property when you had the potential of identifying multiple properties, and for some reason after that 46th or 45th day, you can't close on that one single property identified, well, guess what? Your exchange is over with, and now you're paying tax that maybe you could have avoided if you knew the identification rules. So again, it's not that people are out there disseminating false information on purpose, but I think with anything, we can go out to the internet and we can Google something and find something that may not exactly be correct. So we want to make sure that the information that's provided is solid, it's helpful, and it's written in a way that is easily taken in by taxpayers so that they can process it, talk about it to their CPAs and attorneys, and eventually get with us and talk it through as well. So good information is most important.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love that as a goal, to make sure people are getting the correct information. And I think you teed it up that when you said one of the best opportunities for you guys is to leverage your network, right? To make sure that you handing off like the warm handoff, right? To make sure that people are getting the right information, to leverage your network, to broaden it, to get that information, to educate people out there. And so that's beautiful. And I think, there's a lot of people, they're listening and they are like early in their journey. They're looking to maybe do a 1031. They're looking to find a reputable company who they can go through. And of course, we're going to plug Investors Title Exchange once again, once again. But I think, because I hear, well, we talked about networks, and I think you have a strong network. I think you have a strong staffing, right? we talked about that. So I think it benefits people hearing this from you when it comes to building relationships and growing your network. What's made the biggest difference for you?
Yeah. Consistency, boring, old consistency.
More, man.
It's so I travel a lot, and traveling, people think a lot of things, but people think traveling is like the exotic thing. Matt travels everywhere. It must be so much fun. And listen, it is fun. The day that my job stops being fun, it's going to be really hard. Okay, it will be. But so for the people who say, "Well, Matt, you travel everywhere. It must be so great," I'll send them a picture of the luggage carousel from the airport in Lansing, Michigan at 4:38. That's exotic. Or I'll send you a picture out of the hotel window looking over the hotel in Ocala at the HVAC units and go, here's business travel. But if you're not there, people can't get to know you. If you're not there, you can't talk to people. If you're not consistent, then you can't be top of mind. So consistency is the key in your message, in your outreach, in your physical presence. And again, let's go back to even just picking up the phone. I would love to know the statistic of how much business is won by simply picking up the phone. If you're the person they call because they're searching for an answer and you don't pick up your phone, there's somebody else who they'll find. But if you answer your phone, or at the least you call them back and say, listen, I'm in a meeting right now, or text them, I will give you a call in 30 minutes if that's okay. People just want communication, and effective communication comes from consistency. That's it. As boring and as that sounds, it's all about consistency.
Right.
Nothing glamorous about that.
Listen, you can't fake relationships. And I'm gonna say
No.
this: you have an Abigail, I have a Vanessa, right? And
There you go.
you and I can both agree to this. Consistent communication is key, right? Consistent and
Exactly right.
not faking it. You are showing people I value you when I call you and say, hey, I can't listen. If you just give me 30 minutes, I will be right back to you, because we believe in what we do. We know what we do, but we want people to understand that I value you. Not only that I'm gonna bring value to you, but I value you, as a person. I value your time. And so you're right, you can't fake relationships. And so I love hearing that word consistency. It's a beautiful word. It can be a daunting word sometimes. It's just like you said it, 1% better. If we can just break it down into doses, you can just be 1% better with your consistency. You won't veer off track. You'll stay the course. And so that was
Exactly
beautifully
right.
said. That was beautifully
Yeah.
said. So listen, we're about to wrap up. This has been fruitful. This has been knowledgeable. I appreciate you, Matt. Listen, but before we wrap, if someone wanted to reach out to you, connect with you, collaborate with you, say, hey, I need that 10. What's the
That's the
best
call
way
I
for them
like.
to Yeah, exactly.
Bet.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's what I like. Right.
So tee them up, man. How can they reach out to you, bro?
Write this down. 984-484. That's my cell phone number. Call me, text me, Linville, Linville at invtitle.com. Call me, text me, email me. I will get right back with you. If anybody would like to have like a 3-page overview on 1031s, just something good to sit down with. Listen, if you're an agent listening and you want some information to send out to your clients or potential clients, shout at me. I will send this to you. It's great to send around to your clients to generate conversation. Listen, even if you're a residential broker and a residential agent and you're focused on single family residence, primary residences, and you may think, what in the world does a 1031 have to do with me? You don't know what your potential clients may own. And you may be helping them on a primary residence, but they might own a whole lot of other property. And if one of your questions to them isn't, hey, do you happen to own any investment property? There's a whole line and scale of business out there that you might be leaving behind. So this is good information, even for those who might happen across this podcast and go, what's this guy talking about? It doesn't do me any good. You never know. You don't ask, you don't know.
There he is, everyone. Matt Linville, that 1031 guy. Listen, sir, I appreciate your time, your story, your perspective. We need more people like you in this space that's doing it the right way, man. So, Mr. Matt, thank you again, sir.
My great
Appreciate you.
pleasure.
And listen, for those tuning in, if you got value from this, please make sure that you're subscribed. We want that alert to come up when a new episode come out, because we do not want you to miss these conversations like we had with like we had with Mr. Matt Linville. So thank you so much. Y'all have a great one. I'll see you on the next podcast.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.